I remember actually, one time early on when my daughter was just born, we were drinking water from the tap here in urban San Miguel, and I was filtering it through just a bacteria filter, a simple filter, because this was before we knew that the contamination was in urban San Miguel as well. So I was unintentionally exposing my daughter to excessive levels of arsenic and fluoride for a short amount of time at least. But I'm the director of a water organization. I should, if it took me, testing my own water in my own home to really understand that, just think about how inaccessible it is for so many others around the region. My name is Dylan Terrell. I'm the founder and executive director of Caminos de Agua, a San Miguel-based nonprofit that's been working for nearly 15 years here in San Miguel and the surrounding communities to deal with access to safe and affordable, clean drinking water.
Most people in cities turn on a tap and never think twice about water. What does the water crisis actually look like for families in the community you work with?
So it's very different than in the cities. So when you just get outside of town of urban San Miguel, we're talking about extreme water scarcity conditions. So many communities that just don't have water. So you've got really kind of two different things happening. So one is communities that have little to no water in the first place, and they're doing everything they can. They're ordering trucks of water. They're going to neighbors' wells to try to get water. And then you've got another serious issue, which is contamination. So what most people don't know is that both within the city of San Miguel as well as the rural communities around us, all of our water comes from groundwater, from drilling wells into the aquifers and extracting groundwater. And with that, you not only have water scarcity, but you also have naturally existing arsenic and fluoride, which is prevalent all around our region. And these are contaminants that are completely invisible. So you've got, for communities, just outside of San Miguel, you're talking about kind of drinking water that's silently harming your children and yourselves without really knowing it, because these are completely dissolved in the water. You can't see them, you can't taste them. And a lot of what we see, is that people have been taught to boil water, for instance. And so in a lot of communities, they're boiling water, but that doesn't remove these contaminants. And so they're actually making it worse, and they're consuming these at very, very high levels. And so you start seeing the impacts of public health in the children specifically. You see it with dental fluorosis. So you actually see it physically in their teeth. It's the staining and complete deterioration of their teeth. We're working on a project right now with the National Public Health Institute of Mexico and Columbia University that's looking at children who are exposed to these contaminants at, from pregnancy, all the way up to about 8 years old, 11 years old. And what we're seeing is, impacts on their kidney health, kidney damage, as well as cognitive development and learning disabilities. And this is also a very unequal problem. So, inequality plays a huge role in this. There are solutions, there's information available for us here in urban San Miguel, but you literally just go 20 minutes outside of town and you're dealing with a completely different situation where you have rural communities that don't have the same access that we have here in the urban center.
You talk a lot about communities-led solutions rather than simply donation infrastructure. Why is that approach so important?
Because technology is not a solution. Infrastructure is part of it, but if you install infrastructure without building community ownership, we've seen over and over again how those projects fail. If you don't create the lasting community ownership over any sort of technology, any sort of solution that you're installing, it's just not going to last in the long term. And we've just seen how that happens over and over again. So for us, technology is part of the problem, finding technical solutions, and the other part is making sure that those are owned and operated by the communities themselves so that they actually last over time, and you don't have, people like Caminos de Agua going out and trying to change people's water filters and things like that. It just doesn't, our impact will be very minuscule if that's the way that we want to do it. So we try to avoid just dropping off technologies. We look at our community partners as partners, not beneficiaries, kind of like not passive beneficiaries of charity, but partners who are helping identify the problem, they're helping build the solutions, and they're helping maintain those solutions over the long term.
Was there a moment or story from the field that really shocked you, something that made the water crisis feel deeply personal rather than abstract?
Yeah, I mean, I see it every day, almost every day. I have an 11-year-old daughter, and so I see it in children in the communities every single day who are who are dealing with these issues, who have the actual physical impacts of drinking contaminated water in their teeth and their bodies, and just the difference of, you know, my daughter being able to grow up and not have to deal with those issues, and her being in communities with children who are dealing with those issues. So it's hard not to see children and not see it in your own family, in your own life. And then, I mean, something just kind of related that I think about a lot is how I came here in the first place. So I was working in Chiapas in southern Mexico on a sustainable construction project, and we were essentially bringing a new technology to some communities there and saying, here's the solution to sustainable construction in southern Mexico. And, you know, we did that project for a long time, and basically what we learned was that they're like, yeah, that's not really our problem. You know, we're okay with our housing, you know, that's not our big issue here. And for me, that was just kind of really the substance of a lot of international development work, of kind of, here's the solution to the problem that we've identified for you, instead of actually working with communities and listening to what they actually need and what their real problems are, and trying to help them solve those issues together. And so when I came here, that's when I actually started listening. I didn't come here to work on water, but when we started going out to communities and listening to their actual problems, it's when it became very clear that water was the main issue.
A lot of NGOs focus on awareness, but Caminos de Agua also develops technologies. Can you explain one innovation that has genuinely changed lives?
I think, you know, I hope that all, you know, everything we do is changing lives. But the one that I'll call out right now is what we call Nuestra Agua, which means our water. It's a community scale water treatment plant that removes arsenic and fluoride at the community scale. These, again, are contaminants that are very, very difficult to remove, and we've come up with a very low cost, low technology way to remove these contaminants at scale, at an entire community scale. And so the technology itself is very innovative and it's very, very cool. But I think the most innovative part of it is not the technology, it's the social aspect. So these have been purposely designed to be owned and operated by the communities themselves. And so they run all of the day-to-day operations. They pay local operators to run the systems, to troubleshoot them, to, you know, relatively technically advanced solution, which is actually, you know, very, very simple in its operation. But these are being owned and operated by the communities every single day. And so that means that they can own that solution. They can govern that solution themselves. They have their own committees to govern it. And we can provide, you know, ongoing technical support, but we don't need to be there every single day or even every single week, you know, trying to see, you know, troubleshoot a filter that's not working or a leak in the system or something. All of that happens, and they can completely own and maintain it. We just installed our newest one. It just went online in January of this year. And I remember we had an issue with the pump, and you know, there was a fitting that broke, and we got a text message from them saying, oh, fitting broke, and they're a brand new community. They're just coming on board. And so we thought our engineers would have to go out, and then they sent us a message like 2 hours later. It's like, yeah, we fixed it. It's all good. And it's like, that's what, you know, ownership looks like. It's just like, they were just giving us a heads up that, hey, you know, there might be an issue with the pump because this fitting broke, you know, way early. But, you know, we took care of that, but just, you know, in the future, you might want to check that out. We're like, oh, that's very helpful. Thank you.
If somebody watching this wants to help, what's the most meaningful thing they can do right now beyond simply making a donation?
Beyond donations. Donations are very helpful. I think first and foremost is understanding your own water. And so getting a little bit more connected, you can come to one of our talks. We give talks all the time. Go to our website and just learn more about it. You can also test your own water quality. We offer testing services, which help support our mission in the rural communities that we work with. And so just having an understanding of what your actual water quality is like, where your water is actually coming from. I think we're so disconnected from everything, from our food, from the water we drink. And so just understanding where it comes from, who's using it, and all that kind of stuff, I think is very, very helpful. Helping us spread the word as well. So I give talks all over town. If you want to host us in your home and invite some neighbors over, we would love the opportunity to get the word out to more people as well. And, you know, helping us with connections. If you know an institution, if you know, some government official or somebody who might be interested, you know, somebody technical working on these kind of issues that might be interested in getting involved, you know, reach out to us and let us know. There's all sorts of collaborations here within San Miguel that we don't even know about yet that we would love to be more involved with. And again, donating is helpful too, but